maybe that's a question for the chat. It's like, when have you just accepted or leaned into overpaying because you just had to have that card? Is there an example in your collecting experience where you just went all in, you just said fuck it?
Just had to buy it. Yeah, I mean, I think it happens to a lot of us at times, but
Right.
there's a difference, right? Like you can overpay for a card, but you're overpaying based on comps. There are likely, in many cases, there's other copies on the market that you can find eventually, right? So
Right.
when do you and I've done that. I've overpaid for a card that is not a 101, that there's many copies of, let's say. But when it's the only card that exists, there's only one copy. If you have to overpay, sometimes you just have to, for sure. Chris J says everyone last year did that, which is pretty funny. I'm sure it's not far from false, actually. Waxel says cleaning a print run is one of the hardest things, regardless of the player or product. Yeah, cleaning a print run, and that's what this is, because these are numbered to 9, and there's 9 of them, so I did get all of them. I've done that once before.
Jeremy's busting it out. Just do that again. I liked how you kind of just fanned them out there. Like, yeah.
It's hard to do, but there they are. There they are.
Yeah, I mean, and I would add on though. I mean, so there's one of ones, or you get a PMG green or something, where there's just limited on the planet. But then another angle on this is, if it's a really expensive card, let's say, a Bowman Mays rookie, right? Which we've talked a little bit about. There are versions of a 4 or a 5 or a 3 that look one way, and then there's versions that look another. And if you see a 4 that looks like it could have qualities of a 6 or a 7, that might be the time to push all in and say, I'm willing to pay over market value, because I don't think I'm going to have an option to get into this card, a card this nice, right? In another moment, anytime soon.
Yeah. Some cards speak to you for whatever reason, and you just gotta make the play. I mean, if you're a passionate card collector / even investor, you got to make the play. But I think you're really gonna. I don't know that investors are really gonna ever. No, I'm gonna stop that sentence right there in my tracks, because we've seen people who present as investors overpay for cards all the time. So overpay, not overpay, pay over comp is what I mean. And there is a difference there, because again, are you really overpaying if you're only outbidding the next guy by 1 bid increment? Is that really an overpay, or is it a 1 increment overpay? In which case there was no choice. It's the only way you could get it was by doing that. So you really didn't overpay. We could go on. It's some of these topics you could just go on for hours. This one, the GOAT one, right? But that I like that one. That one's fun. A couple of people did make some comments. Jake's Toe, everything is only worth what someone is willing to pay. Yeah, agree. Albert Jones, overpaid for my OV Young Guns auto, BGS 10 auto as well, but now it's worth money. So you overpaid at the time, but hey, it worked out well for you. Chris C bought a Kobe Chrome PSA 9, no greening. Very nice, very nice. The Dream says, I've definitely overpaid when necessary. I PC Chilean soccer players so they don't come up as often, so I snag them when I can. Yeah, that's true scarcity, right? You just got to buy them when you see them. Mark Santucci, I overpaid for a card because I didn't see a crease in it. It was in a screw down about 1992. A Mike Schmidt rookie. All right. Lapper says you overpaid on a McKinnon totally certified mirror green rookie card 101. Figured I'd never see it again, and it is one of my favorites. I think I have the out of 10 version of that card, actually. I believe I do have the out of 10, maybe. Not sure, Lapper. Waxel, someone out there at one time wanted to get all 10 PMG greens of a player. Imagine trying to finish that. Yeah, I mean, it's doable. I mean, it depends not 97 basketball, I don't think, but it's doable. And, Flair retros and that kind of thing. All Valley overpaid a few times for good eye appeal. Again, I don't know that that's overpaying though, All Valley. I think you're buying quality, so you got to pay for it. So I think, first of all, kudos to you for paying extra for good eye appeal, but that's only going to pay dividends in the long run if and when you do dispose of that card.
I mean, the satisfaction when you get that card in hand, and you've made a play, and in your mind you're thinking, I know I overpaid, but then you receive the card and you look at it, and the decision that you made is kind of verified by your own like appreciation, and now you have the card. Like I just, there really are PSA 1s and 2s that I treasure really, really deeply in ways that maybe a 3 or a 4, and I'm talking about vintage cards, that it's really just, it's a big old cliche in the hobby, but buy the card, not the grade.
100%. The thing is, and it's, I think more and more people are catching on to it now, but the technical grade of a card, people often take issue with the grade that they receive on a card because the card looks so good. But there might be, I think oftentimes we just can't see things. I know that, they're maybe rushing through some gradings here and there. That is what it is. But I do think that there are cards that are graded correctly that just don't look as good as a card that can be. That's why I like a PSA 1 pinhole card, especially if everything else about it is like a PSA 7, but it has a pinhole and it's a PSA 1. I mean, especially on a very valuable vintage card. I mean, sign me up. That's my entry point right there.
What's your, I know you must have one. You have a Clemente rookie, right? What's, what are you holding on the Clemente rookie?
It's a 6. It's a 6. My
Right.
Clemente.
Yeah. I mean, that's a card that I'm constantly interested in seeing like what's out there on the Clemente rookie front, because there are so many components when it comes to centering, when it comes to like the kind of color and registration on the card. And you can find, a 1 or a 3 or a 2 that truly looks better than like a 4. I mean, it's just one of those cards. So anyway, we all have those cards in our world that just want to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, it's an awesome card for sure. 55 tops. But I have a picture of mine here. Mine is off-centered pretty badly for a 6, but it's not like it. I still love it, and it's the corners, the edges. Like I'll show it on. It's just on my phone here, but that's my Clemente, and you can see it's up and to the right on the centering.
That's a Blazer, though.
It's from, as Chris Sewell would say, it's from the Blazer division.
Yes,
outside of centering.
Yeah, look at that green backdrop there. That is beautiful in the face. Oh, wow. Yeah, you did all right. You did all right.
The registration is perfect, actually.
Yeah,
it's a beauty. It's a beauty for sure.
It doesn't bother me in the least there. And I don't even really care about the corners at that point. I mean, it's like, okay, they're a little touched. I don't know.
Again, as I was saying earlier tonight, like I don't mind my vintage being lower than perfect. I mean,
no, I get worried when it's too sharp. I'm like, did this card get trimmed and somehow find its way into a holder? I mean, we have to think about that more and more now that we, in hindsight, see some of the things that are happening. So there is something actually comforting when you see the natural wear of the card and then the card still presents well.
Totally. Like if you're going when I look at 48 Leafs or 33 Gaudis or 52 Parkhurst in hockey or anything from those eras, like you can find yourself a gorgeous PSA 4. I mean, if you can afford it, because they're not, a lot of these cards in 4s are very expensive, but you don't need, I won't say what, and other people, I don't need a PSA 8. I'm happy with a nice 4, and you save a lot of money. You can go and put some of the money into another card too. Rich Frank says, I've been straight ripped off, but never really overpaid on a big one. Fair. Jake Stowe overpaid for his David Robinson rookie 30 years ago. That's going to happen. I mean, you compare what they're selling for now to then, it's pretty much the same price, right?